So fractions. Now, with the definition of fraction, what a fraction means is that it is part of a whole. So for this, I have an example below where it shows a pizza with 8 slices. Now let's say if I ate only one slice, then that means that I ate 1 out of 8 slices. Now let's say if I ate another slice, so I take this one, that just means that I ate 2 out of 8 slices. Now let's say if I eat one more slice and I got full, that means in total I ate 3 out of 8 slices. Now usually we don't write it like this, we write it more numerically. Now numerically we would have a line like this, where the top is called the numerator and our bottom is called the denominator. So in our numerator, we would, in this scenario, it would be the number of slices I ate, and my denominator would be the total number of slices in the pizza. So in this case, my answer numerically for my first example would be 1 over 8. My second example would be 2 over 8. And my third example would be 3 over 8. So numerically, these would be my answer. Now, if I had, say, just a statement where it just said, Tom ate 1/4 of a pizza, and they just wanted me to show how much he ate from, say, a picture, then what I do is I try to indicate how much he ate. So I would have a pizza with 4 slices, and then I would only shade in 1 because he only ate 1 of those 4 slices. So here I am trying to just scribble through, and then I show that this is how much Tom ate. Okay, so now if I have another example where it talks about marbles or balls, and it tells us that 1/2 of the marbles are red, 1/4 of the marbles are blue, and 1/8 of the marbles are green, while the rest are orange, then what we do is we pick one color first. So since the first one is red, let's start with red. And it's saying 1/2. Now I have over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How can I say that? Like, how can I show that half of the marbles are red? Well, what I would do is try to split them into two groups. So now I know that if I want to split 8 into 2 groups, I would have groups of 4. So I could split this is one group of 4, and this is another group of 4. So now I would only have to shade in one of those groups red. So I'll pick this group, and I'll shade in these 4 marbles. That's 2, 3, and here's the last one. Okay. Now, the next one says that 1/4 of the marbles are blue. Now, it's like the same thing, but now I have to think of groups, like 4 groups. So, now I know that with 8 marbles, I could make groups of 2, and I would have 4 groups. So, I'll make groups of 2. So, here's one group of 2. Here's another group of 2. Here's another one. And here's my 4th group. So now I know that it's in 4 groups. And it said that only one of the group is blue. So I won't pick the 2 red groups because that's already shaded red. So I'll pick the other one. So I'll pick this one. So here's 1, 2. So now I know that two marbles are blue and 4 marbles are red so far. And now it says that 1/8 is green. Now, since they're in 8 marbles, that means I have 8 groups of 1 marble in each. So I would just shade in one. So I'll shade in this one. And it said that the rest is orange. So I would have only one. So I'll just shade in that one. Okay. Now we have 3 types of fractions. So the first type is called proper fraction. Now, proper fraction is where we have a numerator and a denominator where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So for instance, I could have 1 out of 4. So I have circle here. I'll put them into 4 parts, and I'll only shade in one of those parts. So that shows me a proper fraction. Now an improper fraction is our second one. Now an improper fraction is the same format where I have the numerator on top and the denominator on the bottom. But for improper fraction, my numerator would be larger than my denominator. So this example, I could have possibly 5 over, and make this smaller, 5 over 4. So I have 2 circles here. So I'll make the first one, put them in 2 groups of 4 because that's my denominator. And then I'll try to shade in 5 if I can. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, but that's not 5. So I have to draw another circle and then draw them into 4 pieces. And since I have 4, to get 5 I need 1 more. So I'll just shade in 1 more. And our third type of fraction is called a mixed number. Now, with mixed number, our format is kind of different. It's where we have a whole number with a numerator and a denominator. Now our numerator is like our fraction in this case would be just like our proper fraction, so our numerator is less than the denominator. So this should be a proper fraction. So an example of that can be, say, 1 whole and 3/4. So in this case, or instead of 1 whole, let's do 2 wholes. 2 wholes and 3/4. So in this case, I have 3 circles already drawn, and I know that 2 of them are already full. So I'll just draw 2, shade 2 of them in. So that's 1, and this is 2. And now it tells me to draw 4 parts because the denominator is 4, and to shade in 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we could do improper to mixed number. Now how do we do that? Well, let's first have an example just to show you. So we have, let's say, 3/2. Now how can we solve for that? What we would do is divide 3 with 2, and what do we get? So we put 2 here, we get 1 up here, subtract it, and we get a remainder 1. So our mixed number should be 1 from this quotient, and then we get 1 from the remainder, and we get 2 from the divisor, or because it stays as the denominator. So we could say that when we go from an improper to mixed number, our whole number is basically our quotient, our numerator is the remainder, and our denominator is the divisor, or the old denominator. Still the same thing. So if I do draw it, let's see. So I had 3 halves here and 1 and 1/2 here from before. Yep, okay, good. So I would first have to draw 1/2, and let's see, does it work? If I draw 3 halves in one circle, I have 1 and I have 2, so not 3, so that means I have to use the other one, and I have to draw 1 more. So 1, 2, and 3. Now for the mixed number, it says that I already have 1 whole, so let's just draw in 1 whole, and there we go. And then it said 1/2, so I would try to make into 2 parts and only shade in one of them. And you can see that they are the exact same thing. So if we could go from improper to mixed number, that means we could go from mixed number to improper fraction. So with mixed number to improper fraction, let's use the same example. So we had 1 and 1/2. Now, how do we make that into improper fraction? Well, if you take this, we would use the whole number, we would multiply with the denominator, and then we would add it with the numerator. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's our new numerator, 3, and then the denominator should stay the same, so over 2. Just like what we got before, 3 over 2 is 1.5. Now if we do another example, so let's say we had 1 and let's see 2/4. So that's so what we would do, multiply 1 with 4 and then add it with 2. So 1 times 4 gives me 4, and then 4 plus 2 gives me 6. So that means my improper fraction is 6/4. Now let's do one more example. Let's say we have 3 wholes and 4/7. So we would multiply 3 with 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. And then we would add it by 4. So 21 plus 4 gives me 25. So our new improper fraction would be 25/7. Now, if we try to show it, and let's see if it works, let's try our second example. So 1 and 2/4 and 6/4. So we know, let's try the mixed number first. So it says that one whole is already shaded in. So no need to put into parts. We could just shade in that entire whole. There we go. And then it says that 2/4 are already shaded in. So let's first put in 4 parts and shade in 2 of them. And there we go. And now over here in the improper fraction, it says 6/4. So let's first draw 4 parts for one of the circle and see if there's enough. So I have 4 parts now. I'll draw in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, so it didn't work, so I'll just go on to my next one. And I have 4 equal parts now, and since over here was 4, to get 6 parts I would need to shade in 2 more. So 1 and 2, and you can see that it's the exact same thing. So that's how we go from mixed number to improper fraction, and that's all for today.